two fields to the outside. Slightly cramped on the full shot there, the man, but he got enough of it to get it past the field and all the way to the boundary. Back on the target at the moment. Looked like it simply just kept a little bit lower than he expected. Adjusted well. First boundary for him through the onside. He's on 17 and 21. Well, here's an opportunity now for Bakazaman finally to take strike. Towards the end of the fourth over. To say so far, Zimbabwe bowlers have been a little bit both sides of the wicket. Just about to touch on that point, right? A level of experience between the opening bowlers of Pakistan and Zimbabwe. Yes, there hasn't been much swing throughout the tournament. But they've definitely been more consistent with Pakistan bowlers. And here's another example. The first ball that was on space. Then it's just an over and he gets short wide delivery first up. We know how devastating he is through that area anyway. The bowlers have been as consistent as they can. Just talking from the point that there hasn't been much swing. Pakistan bowlers continue to hit a good area much longer. End of the over, 26 without loss.
ये है जिलेट ब्लूटूथ प्लस जो दे महफूज शेप कहीं भी कैसे भी जिलेट ब्लूटूथ प्लस क्रोमियम प्लेटेड ब्लेड्स के साथ जो चले 5 शेप तक the best a man can get. While others are somewhere, our 4G is everywhere. Dream a new dream on Pakistan's #1 data network. Gong 4G, a new dream. नया स्कॉट एंड पेपर मस्ती बाय कुरकुरे जिसके टेढ़े मेढ़ेपन में भरा है ज्यादा फ्लेवर टेढ़ा है पर मेरा है
Bakazaman, the last ball of that last over. Really pronounced crouch there. He always does that, but it's an interesting little trait, isn't it, Tino?
It is. The reason why he will do that, you can see that he stands up quite a lot. And tall when the bowler's running in. It's a very difficult position to move from. So basically what he's doing by crouching like that is loading the muscles. And that's so that he can either spring forward or have a little initial movement forward and then push back. A lot of players do that now. Jacques Callis was one, for example. He would stand tall, but he would have a little trigger movement, make sure that he's squatting, load the muscles. A.B. de Villiers is another one. So it's just making sure that you've got those muscles loaded. And it's the same as somebody standing. If you ask them to jump, the first thing they do is crouch, so they load the muscle.
Pakistan have targeted 300 plus today. That's what Sarfraz said at the toss. When he won the toss, Pakistan elected to bat first. They've certainly made a very positive start here. And with their victories in the series so far, 201 runs, 9 wickets and 9 wickets. Opening stands in the series 114, 119 and 0 between these two players. We were talking, of course, at the start of the series about the fact that Pakistan searching for settled opening combination in this form of the game. 2 century stands in 3 matches. It's a pretty good effort, you'd have to say. Power to add in match 4. Bundle by Chisoro, square leg, but no single.
He's a bundle of energy, Tendai Chisoro, very aggressive himself, and he was right in Fakazaman's face the other day after he got that bouncer that hit the helmet. Ground flower on the left, batting coach with Mickey Arthur, the head coach on the right. Interestingly, Tendai Chisoro, I don't know if you know this, used to be a left-arm seamer.
Scramble single. End of the over.
मेरे कुछ फैसले शायद समझ ना आए, लेकिन उनमें होता है हमेशा जीत का जज्बा, क्योंकि मेरे लिए बेस्ट से कम नामुमकिन, चाहे क्रिकेट में या लाइफ में। इसीलिए मैं यूज करता हूँ सिर्फ हेड एंड शोल्डर्स, क्योंकि कोई भी दूसरा शैम्पू 100% तक खुश्की खत्म करने में इसको हरा नहीं सकता। नंबर 1 से कम कभी नहीं। हेड एंड शोल्डर्स, दुनिया का नंबर 1। अब व्हाट्सएप चले पूरा महीना सिर्फ 20 रुपए में। स्टार 247 हैश मिलाए और पूरा महीना मजे उड़ाए। एक नई ऑफर, एक नया खाब। Zong 4G
G5, first ever mobile phone assembled in Pakistan. 2.4 LCD सिर्फ 1499 में। लूट में मिला
G5।
Got full movement there.
Such a pleasant guy, isn't he, Hassan Ali? Not quite as pleasant when he's running in with the ball, though.
Change of bowling at the airport end. Tiripanu getting an opportunity, and straight away he's dispatched over square leg for 4. Welcome to the crease.
Donald Tiripanu struggled in this series with his first couple of balls. He's not normally one that's expensive early on in his spells. He normally comes in, hits good area, and nips the ball around. It hasn't been the case in this one-day international series so far. Nicely picked up by Fakazaman. He's a man in great touch.
Same again, but this time square leg. Chisoro out on the boundary, and a good arm from him. Really needed to take any risks so far, these two Pakistan batsmen. They've just been able to pick off the bad ball, which has come on a regular basis. 2-2-2 is the call. A comfortable 2 as well for Imam. That again is an illustration of the problems we've seen in these first few overs from a Zimbabwe perspective. They've just been both sides of the wicket.
That's exactly why Hamilton Masakadza has now moved himself from the offside into the onside. They took the deep square back and they left the mid-wicket area open.
I don't agree with that, to be honest with you, Tino. Just setting fields for bad bowling. You've got to ask the bowler to bowl the line you want him to bowl, not have to compensate for the fact that he's not doing it. Here's the trophy that Sarfraz is going to get his hands on in a couple of days' time.
One ball to go in his first over, Donald Tiripano. And as you say, that's the trophy that Safraz will be collecting in a couple of days' time.
It's a very nice improvised shot from Imam. Little short arm pull, really, punching it into the gap between mid-wicket and mid-on. But Tiripano's line has been all over the shot in this first over. 10 off it, 38 without loss.
पाकिस्तान भर की ख़वातीन ने किया वसीम अकरम को चैलेंज कि इनका डिटर्जेंट एरियल से बेहतर है तो हो जाए मुकाबला लगाते हैं सालन इंक और केचप के साथ अरे रुकिए एक को धोएंगे आपके पाउडर से और दूसरे को नए एरियल से नया एरियल डबल एक्शन फॉर्मूला के साथ जिससे ज्यादा हरे जर्रात साफ बेहतर निकाले सिर्फ एक धुलाई में तो कौन उतरा आपके चैलेंज पर पूरा
While others are somewhere, R4G is everywhere. Dream a new dream on Pakistan's #1 data network. Zong 4G, a new dream.
Brava and Donald Tiripano have been wayward, to say the least. Ms. Rabbani's control illustrated by the fact he's still got those two slips in position. But Zimbabwe need wickets. Because if they don't get wickets, we've seen what can happen in that first one-day international. Pakistan topping 300, and indeed in the second one-day international, an opening stand between these two of 119 towards Pakistan's eventual victory by 9 wickets. Wickets pay the rent in this instance for Zimbabwe. You had a look at the pitch beforehand, Tino. It's a fresh pitch. It looks an absolute beauty, doesn't it?
It's fantastic. This is the city end, and you can see just a little bit of grass, but well rolled into the pitch. It's rock hard. Don't know if you'll be able to tell on this Hoover, but the other end's just got a little bit more grass. But as you say, it's just an absolute featherbed. Typical wicket that you get at Queen Sports Club in the summer. To be able to produce something like that in the winter tells you that a lot of work's gone into it.
We touched on it briefly in the last match, Tino. How difficult is it for the ground staff to actually grow grass in the winter here?
Yeah, it's very difficult. Very difficult. But they haven't had much cricket out here since February, March, when the World Cup qualifiers were on. So they've had ample time to work on it and produce the kind of wickets that they wanted to, and they've done a wonderful job. Cannot question the quality of the surfaces that have been produced. It's been becoming very little swing. The ball has steam and moved around a little bit. Not too much spin either. Wonderful conditions for the batsmen.
Third man just being moved a little bit wider. starting them young.
Assalamu alaikum.
Here in Bulawayo.
Wa alaikum salam.
She's been here for every day of international action on this tour. The 2020s aren't here.
ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ
End of the over, 7 gone, Pakistan winning the
toss. ਮੈਸੇਜ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਆਹੋ अच्छा 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 बंदा ठीक है बस ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है
अब व्हाट्सएप चले पूरा महीना सिर्फ 20 रुपए
चलो ठीक हो
तो अभी स्टार 247 हैश मिलाए और पूरा महीना मजे उड़ाए एक नई ऑफर
चलो ठीक है कोई गल
Did that used to worry you as an opening batsman when you went up there times and the other blokes hockey all the strike on a flat wicket, get a bit annoyed?
चलो सही
especially the ones who take a run off the last ball and then have the strike back again.
जी ठीक है ठीक है ठीक
You don't mind it on seaming wickets when you're going all over the place and on wickets like this.
चलो ठीक है
especially when you're in the form of Fakhar Zaman. You're seeing it like a watermelon. Wringing his hand, obviously it was a stinging straight drive, hard blow from Fakhar Zaman. I quite enjoyed his temperament actually because, you know, looking at him you feel that he should get a little impatient, anxious to get on with the game, but not anymore. At least not in this, on this tour of Zimbabwe. And this is pretty useful for Pakistan because his mere presence can have an effect on the opposition, and then he's got that ability to hit. Like the way Imam is always looking for a single. He's not static at the crease. He's always looking to do something when he's facing the ball or face the ball. It's a good habit. Another dot, just a single in that over. Good one for Zimbabwe, 41 without a wicket.
अब व्हाट्सएप चले पूरा महीना सिर्फ 20 रुपए में तो अभी स्टार 247 हैश मिलाए और पूरा महीना मजे उड़ाए एक नई ऑफर एक नया ख्वाब Zong 4G
नया स्कॉटिंग पे
6-8 and
but well enough to hit the fence.
Well, I'm going to hang about. Let's give him the opportunity to clear that front leg, whether it be offside or leg side. He's going to take it on. It doesn't look pretty all the time, but mighty effective.
So pressure on the bowler. First ball being hit for a 4. Bit of a slot from the left-hander. Will that shift the field? Will that have an impact on the Masakadza, his tactics? Straight away we see boundary rider being adjusted on the leg side. Fine leg is up in the circle. So pleasing on the eye when he's driving the ball through the offside.
They just seem to be stuck with what they want to achieve out there, the Zimbabwe bowlers. Haven't seen it come round the wicket, haven't seen change of pace on a wicket such as this that is good for batting, playing against two informed batsmen. You've got to be thinking the whole time. You're just sort of one-dimensional at the moment from the Zimbabweans. Basically, Zarabani hasn't tried any short deliveries. That's how he got a wicket in the previous game. You know, at least 2 and over. Make them play the hook shot. They're not really in control. These two don't like it up there. Just do something different.
Oh, is your wish fulfilled? I hope. I saw this in the nets, playing the short ball and playing to pull and hook shots. Not exactly a cracking pull shot, just a swivel, nothing more than that. With that height, you want Mizrabani really to be experimenting with a shorter length.
As a fast bowler, do you really want someone like Fakazini just plonking that front foot down the wicket and freeing the arm? Surely you want to try something different.
Difficult angle for Fakar really to create. It wasn't that shorter ball from Mizrabani. Now that back leg doesn't move at all. That's how he plays. Just a brilliantly hand-eye coordinated personality and a batsman. Fakar Zaman. You can argue with his footwork, feet movement, but he gets the job done in his own special way. That's a good start. He really had to stretch. Keep her.
Yeah, good change of pace, slower ball, just not the right direction, too high. Well, at least he's trying something different. Gets some bat on it, and great work from Murray behind the stumps. Good agile stuff, and makes the save.
It's 48 without it. The inside edge hobbling a bit. The knee, I think, is way outside the leg stump.
Just not playing with the same authority and control as he has in previous games. Fakar Zaman a little too loose today, maybe. Still hitting it pretty decently in Renew and good form. The mental battle is always to play one ball at a time and not get too carried away. Just get the feeling today on this particular surface, maybe it's a bit of frustration because he hasn't had a lot of the strike. Just get the feeling that he's playing with a little too much freedom. Just needs to knuckle down a bit and really get with the program, because there's another big score in the offing here. Doesn't want to give it away.
Out of all the batting potential that Pakistan possesses, he comes across as someone who can probably go for a double ton in a one-day international on the day. That's 4. On the pads, not a good ball. That's been an issue with Zimbabwe. You know, 2 good balls, 2 bad balls, and they pay the price.
Especially when finally he's up in the circle, 2 straight from Donald to Republic. On the leg side, all he had to do was get some piece of willow on it, and he's always going to race away for 4. Well, you're right. Consistency, the key to being successful. And with the Zimbabweans, we've just seen too much inconsistency with the bowling, particularly with the backup bowlers in the rubber today. Donald Tirapano just not getting enough balls in the right area.
Almost slipped in his endeavour. Fakhar Zaman, it's been given as a wide. Saw the batsman coming out of the crease and fired it wide to Tirapano.
It's amazing the mindset of the youth today. In the old days, and we're taught it, when you hit a four, next ball, get a single, look to get off the mark. And these days, the mental process is hit another four. Not get down the other end, I need the strike.
He runs hard, he runs well. Fakhar Zaman takes two. Once again, on the pads, Tirapano's got to adjust his line. There are 5 men on the offside.
I think they would have talked about not giving Fakhar Zaman any width outside the off stump. There's a fine line between not giving width and then being too straight, too far down the leg side. And the thought process is a good one from Donald Tirapano. The execution, not so.
Well, that's gone through for another 4. It was a lovely sounding straight drive from Fakhar Zaman. Everything so right about it. No wonder he's laughing about that drive and the success he achieved. A little uppish, scoop, but beautifully timed.
Yeah, no real flourish on this occasion. Punched down the ground, right out the meat of the back. And enough on it to get past the diving mid-off in vain. And once it got past him, raced away.
Successful over for Pakistan, 11 from 59 without a wicket.
Hiring was always a huge challenge. Endless hours on job sites with not a lot to show for it. Then I found ZipRecruiter. They figured out hiring. I post my job, they put it all over the web, and they send me the right people because their technology is smart. ZipRecruiter often sends me the right person in 24 hours.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/race.
Turner was 59 without a wicket. In 50 overs terms, a bit slow, Pakistan. Chisora coming on to bowl, 30 years of age. Left arm spin.
Tough for a left-arm spinner bowling to 2 left-handers, the ball turning in. He's going to have his work cut out here. Tendai Chisora. He bowled pretty well whenever given the opportunity for Zimbabwe. He was good in the T20 tri-series. Going to have his work cut out here, though, just to make sure that he's spot on right from the get-go, because they're going to be coming at him. They're going to be trying to put him under pressure and find the boundary.
Good
You can employ different tactics as a spinner. Yes, there's all the variables that come out of the hand and how you try and tweak it, how you try and vary your pace. But also just rushing the batsman. That's what Tendai Chisora does. Gets through his overs very quickly, don't let the batsman settle. And that's also a very handy tactic when things are going awry a bit and haven't got a wicket. Just put them under pressure and let them settle.
The way he holds the ball, it appears as if most part of the ball is touching his palm. He doesn't get the ball to spin, therefore. But he's quick through the air and he's pretty accurate. Great closer from outside edge there. Fakhar Zaman once again trying to cut the ball that wasn't that short. Ball not spinning at all. Gets it past the keeper. Did he get something on it?
ये वनडे हो रहा है ना? हैं? स्कोर तो सही है 10 ओवर में 60.
He's been given as a run.
Done so well in the over, and then spears one down the leg side. He gets 3 from it. It's all the extra ball.
We know extra ball can produce a bit of a lottery for the batsman. Let's see how Fakhar Zaman goes about it. Runs with a shot, it's a misfield. Zimbabwe has been untidy. It should have been none. Pakistan have stolen 3. Result of that misfield. It's 66 without.
11-6-68 11 ओवर 66 स्कोर. ठीक सही है. 27
Reasonably good start by Pakistan, could have been a lot better. 11 overs, 66 on the board. In this day and age, you're looking at against a team like Zimbabwe, who've been struggling. 11 overs, 66 on the board. In this day and age, you're looking at against a team like Zimbabwe, who've been struggling with the ball. Maybe 100 would have been a good target for Pakistan. There's got to be an individual challenge. Some like hitting 100 or 50 balls, Alistair, or somebody like Fahim Ashraf picked up 5 for nothing, to coming up with a glorious bowling performance.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you mentioned earlier about somebody getting 200, one of these openers. A surface like this against this sort of bowler, this is a very, very good opportunity for that to happen. They got 307 in the first game. Pakistan only scored 84, I think it was, in the last 10 overs. And I think 300, 320 is par for them, Bulawayo. It's such a good batting surface. But they're going to be aiming a lot higher than that. So 200 as an individual milestone, 5 for nothing. Really put yourself under pressure as a bowler and try and achieve that. As a team, 400, I think, is which you might be looking at as a coach and build towards that as far as how you break down your innings is concerned. And going along and run a ball, I think that's minimum. But as these two get in, I think just to push it up to 7 to the over, so going into their last 10 overs, after 40, you should be looking at being around about the 280, 300 mark, and then be able to kick on and get 100, 120 in that last 10 overs.
Seems to have got stuck a bit. 28 from 41.
In Pakistan now, that probably 300 would be enough, 280, 300 would be enough.
But it's not a case of what will be enough. It's about pushing the boundaries of seeing how far you can take things, seeing how far you can put yourself under pressure to achieve greater heights.
Pakistan have scored 562 runs so far in the series. Only 3 sixes in 562 runs that they've accumulated. Got to be a lot more than that. Surely. One area where they need to improve as a batting unit. Try to hit the big shots. Maybe because Asif Ali hasn't had a go so far in the series. He only batted once and lit up the field with big power. 69 without it.
नहीं बे है मैं देखन तो नहीं डाकदा तेनू
Zoom, PayPal service guarantees that your money will be received or will refunded. Download the app and send money with confidence. Zoom, the easiest way to send money and recharge phones in Pakistan.
No, you don't like that.